They're gonna like turn around and stuff. Really? Needs to stand up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show here. We've got the game underway between Counterlogic Gaming and Vulcun. And as they get themselves set up for level 1, I want to do my favorite thing with crowds here. The cheers for your favorite team. So Vulcun in red, if you want to see them take this one home, let me hear you, Anaheim.
Ooh, I think the CLG fans might be able to answer that one. If you're a Counterlogic Gaming fan, let's hear it.
Kobe, seems they're in your court, but of course, guys online, you see those numbers in the bottom left corner. That is the Twitter feed right here. Hashtag VUL, hashtag CLG. Vote for your favorite, who you think is going to win. As you can see, they're fluctuating every second here. Put in the votes for your home team. And what's ironic here, because the numbers are so heavily in CLG's favor, Vulcun has CLG's number in this matchup.
Literally, they have the number. It looks like these preliminary defensive wards, though, are going to mean no early action here. Counterlogic might do a delayed invade on this blue side because they do have 4 people in this tri-bush, and they'll probably be having AD carry and support down in that bot lane.
So we're going to see them move on out. CLG just wants to dive in for this. They had warded it before, and now they're going to revisit, seeing that no one has defended this. Zuna just off to the side. Blue buff spawns. Zuna's going to spot them in a second. I don't think he'll get to do much about it, but suddenly he's like, guys, I just got shot. It's going to be a little bit tenuous for Zuna. Puts the slope field down, gets Glitterland, still losing health, flashes over the wall. He's going to make it out, and blue is stolen by Counterlogic Gaming.
Bonus for CLG. Not only do they steal the blue buff, but they also get a free flash, and Zuna's going to be late to lane. Those early levels mean so much, especially in a duo lane. Coming down there at an experience disadvantage is really going to hurt Zuna.
And interestingly enough, we actually have top lane Jarvan. So I believe Zach is still 100% jungle in the North American LCS. Nian taking a page out of Chris's book, and we'll see how this one runs out. Smithy, though, is reacting to that earlier blue steal and trying to get the one away from Big Fat. He has Smite, and Big Fat doesn't.
Very, very dangerous here. Smithy going to go for this one, though. He's able to get Big Fat off, and they've got that ward, so it's going to be everyone collapsing. Could be a 3 vs 3.
There we go. Nian is around. The mid laners lurking in the shadows as well. Smithy comes in, takes it down. So the blue buff and the red buff still going to Vulcun jungler. That's going to be a good start for them. Which
actually delayed Big Fat OP quite a lot. So now he's the one at the disadvantage, even though they stole that blue buff. Sitting at level 2 here, he's going to have to catch back up when his smite returns so he can take his own red.
And that's so tenuous too, because he went there right away as soon as he could, but it took longer to go from enemy blue to his blue. And again, a very, very good opening here by Smithy. So we take a look at this bottom lane that we talked about. Zuna getting to lane late, losing his flash early. You already see a lot of early pressure here from Chaucer and Double Lift.
And having Chaucer back on one of his more comfortable supports is so much easier for this duo lane. They've been having a bit of trouble getting back into sync, but Lulu is one of the supports that he was known for back when they were considered one of the best bottom lanes in the entire world. So they're really going back to the comfort picks, and now that they've got that advantage, they're free to press it.
But Smithy's looking to try to turn this one around. He's lurking around the blue buff. He was looking for the bottom lane. He actually got pinged out. Of course, the earlier ward was still there from Counterlogic Gaming. Doesn't get much out of this, but Smithy looks for the mid lane. He has been seen by the ward. He's not going to get anything there either.
Yeah, this is something that you have to keep in mind as a jungler. Wherever your opponent's team has already been, they've probably laid wards. So then your team has been invaded on your blue, the other team probably laid some wards around there. He's been seen out here, and so he's really wasting a lot of time, which is exactly what you don't want to do on a jungle.
And he's still trying for it. And look how far back Link is playing. He knows that Smithy's not going to touch him right here. Mandatory Cloud just keeps on pushing the lane. He's getting a small minion lead out of it, 32 to 25, but not this huge lead right here. So far, Link is holding up in mid.
Yeah, but there's the red elixir here being held onto by Mandatory Cloud, so Link definitely has to be careful, and we don't think that there's going to be a Zach gank in that lane because Zed is very, very slippery, and he's also very dangerous. He can easily turn around a gank. Popping that red elixir just gives him so much burst.
Oh, the stun is landed. Smithy's going to take down a minion, doesn't actually get in on the fight. Could have morphed the Cocoon, but couldn't get in front of the minions to have them not block it. So a nice attempted gank. Sid is pushing around Nien, though.
Yeah, Sid is definitely dominating this lane. Kennen is so strong in the laning phase. We always talk about how they start with those Doran blades, and his lifesteal is just so strong. His sustain is able to keep Nien on the defensive here, even though Nien has started with that rejuve bead, and it looks like he's going to be building towards that Hydra, that Tiamat into the Hydra build.
So we'll see if he can get there before too long, because the lane hasn't gone well for him so far. Last hitting on her turret decently right there. Again, you still see a 7 minion kill deficit. But speaking of Doran's blades, you've got 3 on the team right there. Sid, of course, started with 1. Zuna started with 1. But Mandatory Cloud also picking up a lot of early attack damage and looking for the top lane gank.
Yeah, it looks like there's no ward, but he's going to back off anyways here, and they do get seen out by the one Link just placed here. So the roam from mid going to be unsuccessful, but Sid doesn't need any help right now. He's dominating this lane. He's got the 4% lifesteal from Quintessences, plus the extra damage here.
Cocoon lands onto CLG Link, and there comes the damage output. Zed is nearby, puts down the slow. Look at the burst damage coming across. If ManCloud were 6 and learned his ultimate, that would have been a dead Link.
Ooh, so no juke right there for the Cocoon, but he didn't burn his flash either. Link held onto it, he kept his calm, and just took his lashes there. He took the damage that he was deserved.
And speaking of the damage Link is taking, despite being as an attack damage mid laner, he's still rushed Chalice of Harmony. So no defensive stats at all for Link, and he says, this is fine, I'll just deal with it.
Yeah, Arm Guard is really the item that you usually get when you're going up against, say, an AD in the mid lane, but Xerath doesn't really need that Zanya's in the late game because he sends so far back from the rest of the fighting that you would really hinder your late game if you did start that and build completely for lane.
But speaking of how that lane is going, though, because it's such an interesting matchup so far, Mandatory Cloud is harassing Link incredibly low. You saw him right there on the turret, dropping him down below like 1/3 health, but holding on to the ultimate, not choosing to all-in the opponent and just trying to get him out of lane over and over.
And he also is still holding on to that Ignite too, so the burst damage is definitely there. Plus, the red elixir was never popped. He's already gone back and fought, but that's still in his pocket. So the all-in is very, very dangerous here from the Zed, and we'll have to see if Mandatory Cloud actually decides to roam and get his kill on someone squishy.
So that major carry there, having a good early lane, up 15 minions, and we'll check in with him later as he starts to one-shot people as the game goes on. But the bottom lane is the one that I think has a lot of people worried, because Zuna and Doublelift, though they've been starting to get overshadowed by their mid laners of late, these are still these late game carry guys, that, you know, the people that tend to key in at the late game for CLG.
Here comes Big Fat LP top though.
And the knockup's gonna come in. Psycho said his pop his ultimate, taking a bunch of pain from the Ignite as well, trying to run down to the river. The damage still coming out from Big Fat LP. There's the dunk as well. First blood going to Nien on Jarvan.
No wards for either top laner. Sid got a little bit overconfident there. He was dominating his lane so well, and he was relying on that Lightning Rush plus Flash, but he didn't burn his Flash, and he wasn't able to dodge the move there from Zach. No, the Elastic Slingshot, and he paid for that one with his life.
And the ominous shadow in the flag toss, letting him know there's a knockup coming in, just didn't quite spot it out or react in time. So the early first blood coming down, but ManCloud is roaming over to the top lane to hold some of that tower farm, so he'll be able to keep the turret alive and keep his farm going. The bottom lane, though, full of aggression. Zuna getting jumped on. Q comes across. There's the dunk in. The Big Fat's been exhausted, and there's the jump back in from Smithy. Cleanse comes out in the Cocoon, pushes them back with the Buster Shot. That's going to be Doublelift still trying to run away. Smithy not done. Flash Q. Can he get the damage? Chester tries to block. He won't. Smithy picks up the kill. Another CC combo. Double kill for Smithy.
The level 6 is just so strong with that. You can see the power of all the CC that Vulcun are bringing to this one. And a double kill means that they also have control over the dragon area. Even though there's no pink ward on it, they can safely go for this one. Big Fat LP does have his cell division up, so he might even go for a steal here if Xerath backs him up.
Big Fat has been one of the best stealers I have seen so far in the LCS. Does a lot of good things. They're charging up Link's ultimate. A lot of bursts coming across. They're trying to dodge, but the damage, of course, still a little bit there. Doesn't quite land the last R. Smithy, though, low on health. They're down below half. Sid holding on to try to zone them out, but this is actually Vulcun giving up Dragon. Well played, Link.
And that's why you always carry wards with you, so they can drop it over the back of this dragon. That threat right there made Vulcun second guess for too long. They took way too much damage from the dragon, and they didn't want to go for this one with the threat of a Zac Elastic Slingshot.
So great threats there by Counter Logic Gaming, turning that one away a little bit. And you can see there that the rewards for all this early game aggression has been a 600 gold lead here for Vulcun. So the early stretch is there. However, the bottom lane, despite the early kills, CLG comes right back. This is going to be their turret.
Yeah,
I think
Big Fat LP is coming here in the background. Even though he was seen by these wards, they still have enough time to get the damage down here. It's going to be a 3 versus 3.
Oh, they took too long, and the counterattack is here. Zuna and everyone trying to deal some damage. Smithy has shown back up. Will have his abilities, jumps forward with the Q. There's an auto attack. Can he go for the cocoon? No, they're going to dodge away from the Glitter Lance. Don't want the 3v3.
So they didn't have Chain of Corruption up for that, but they did have Flash Crescendo available. And since they had seen Big Fat LP with those wards, they still wanted to go for that one. CLG, though, doing a good job backing off.
And CLG does back off, and there is the Tiamat in from Nian Tanso. Just Nian, actually, he changed the name. There's no Tanso anymore, but he is up in the top lane with the early Tiamat. However, Smithy coming in, goes for the stun, lands it onto Link, and there comes the burst damage. Barrier pops in to do enough damage, tries to combo back, can't do it. There's a good kill in mid lane.
Smithy showing why Elise is such a popular jungler, especially in solo queue, because she has the gap closers plus the range CC.
Looking for the damage there. Oh, the Chain of Corruption comes across. Double takes a lot of damage. Crescendo as well. Will they go in and do enough damage to double it? Buster shots them back down to 100 health. He's going to get away.
They didn't want to fully commit to that one because there were still 2 CLG members that could answer, but that means nobody in mid is probably going to be another turret going down and answer.
Oh my gosh. So actually, the bottom turret never quite went down. CLG tried to greed on it and let the minions... Actually, I take that back. They could have been on purpose. Some players love to have the laning phase extend. You can see that Doublelift is up 12 minions on his AD carry opponent. They might have put that turret up on purpose just to extend his laning phase.
It's very rare that you would see a Tristana lane do that too, right? Because Tristana lanes are notorious for having a rough early game. Doublelift himself says that he never lets a Tristana get out of his lane with any less than a 30 CS deficit.
Then Zuna's never leaving this lane because he's not going to get that 30 CS deficit here for a while. Double is going to go ahead and defend this turret right here. Should be easy. It's at basically full health right there. So good, again, early openings here by the CLG squad in this bottom lane. Despite the early gank, ManCloud's still looking to make plays, though he hasn't found any kills yet on the map.
But it looks like Psycho Sid in trouble getting killed.
And the dunk is coming in from Nian. He is in turret range. It's not going to matter, though. Nian got one early kill and is turning it into more. Dual Psycho Sid again.
The power of that Tiamat rush, having an auto attack reset on someone like Jarvan is extremely strong. But Vulcun, look at their team comp and unavailed. Here we go, Link.
There we go. The burst damage. Death Mark is on. Will it be enough? Yes, it is. Mandatory Cloud 1v1 takes that one down. And now Big Fat LP is going to collect some blobs and say, you're right, I can't duel you.
So we saw that red elixir we kept talking about. The all-in potential was there. He finally makes it happen. And I was going to talk about the items, though. Not only do we have Mandatory Cloud rushing for that Blade of the Ruined King, but we also have Zuna getting one on his Varus. So there is a ridiculous amount of percentage damage on this Vulcan team as he gets slowed with a creep wave.
Yeah,
no.
he gets chunked. Unfortunately, Doublelift was not there for Trapster to follow up, but Smithy is there. There's the stun. Trapster's not going to like it so much. Pops his ultimate, tries to get the knockup as enough, and looks like that will actually let him run away.
That is going to be the ultimate down, though, and now Vulcan have the upper hand in that bottom lane, and they're going to continue pushing it.
You can see it actually in the bottom left corner. It's now up to 50-50. The early vote lead was for CLG, but it looks like the internet says, you know what, Vulcan, you're getting some really good kills. That Dragon, that turret, they've got a 2,000 gold lead. They're proving some fans, some Vulcan fans, pretty good here.
And the objective control that Vulcan get from a double Blade of the Ruined King plus Varus plus Elise team composition, it means that any objective, either Baron or Dragon, will go down really, really quickly if CLG are ever out of place.
Well, speaking of CLG being out of place, though, right now Nian has given up that bottom lane, or the top lane, and wants to make something happen down here. Zuna down to 2/3. The team is there. Chain of Corruption misses. Doublelift runs away from that one. Doesn't have to burn any summoners for it. Just gets out. Turret under more fire. CLG is going to reset.
CLG really, really need the blue buff on Link here because they want to be able to use his ultimate to chunk down someone from Vulcan before a fight starts. They need to abuse this range. This is a 100% long-range team that we're building here for CLG with the Tristana plus the Xerath here and the Zac with his elastic slingshots.
It's definitely going to make life hard for the Vulcan line. The bottom turret finally goes down. Doublelift making that push happen and saying, okay, we'll let this lane close out a little bit. I'm still at 15, but I'll let you out of my lane. It's going to be all right. Look at this game. It's close.
Look at this double lift. He's trying to bait down bottom, showing in lane by himself, while he's got Nien over there in his bush.
There we go. The knockup is there. Blubber taking a bunch of punishment. Nien waited so long for that. Flash crescendo in the backwards direction, but Zuna is caught in a 1v2. He's standing his ground, though. Can he put the damage on a double? Smithy shows up. There's the repel. They go. They land the cocoon. Double puts on barrier. Do they have enough? He jumps over the wall, and Zuna flashes away, but here comes Nien. He's still chasing down. Flashes in, goes for the damage. There comes double and flashes away. But Maglav gets him with the active. There's the Zac ultimate, takes the kill down onto Zuna. The fight is still going on. Smithy flashes over the wall, but now comes Ling. He's got his own ulti. It's going to be Chowster looking for a slow with the Glitter Lance. Exhaust goes on to Smithy. Glitter Lance lands as well. Puts down a lot more damage. Do they have enough? There's the Zereth Q. It's not quite enough range. Smithy gets out.
What a long chase through the jungle of Vulcun right there. Commando Jarvan paid off. He waited in the bushes. He was camouflaged, and they were able to get the first strike down there. But double lift going down in the end there. A little bit too long of a run through the Vulcun jungle.
Wow, so the kills are traded back and forth, but Psycho Sid in the top lane was just pushing the entire time. Nien paid a little gamble here, saying, look, I'll leave my lane, I'll look for a kill here, found a kill, but by leaving his lane, they got something answered.
And that's definitely worth it for Vulcun because they also have pressure in the mid here. We talked about Mantor Cloud being a ridiculously strong duelist. 2 kills now means that he is going to be able to finish that Blade of the Ruined King next time he goes back, and then he will get the double active damage from that item.
And that is going to be such a scary thing for the CLG lineup to deal with. He's been assassinating without it so far. I don't want to see what they do when they lose 15% of the max health at the beginning of those fights to get multiplied by death marks. So let's see what's up now for this Vulcun squad, because right now it has been the mandatory Cloud show. He's 2-0. He's been doing so amazing. Smithy, of course, as well. And as the red buff goes down, Smithy is, look at that, early aggressive wards, the pink ward in the enemy jungle. He's sweeping out Vision here. Could be making some plays soon.
Psycho Sid dominated his lane so hard. This is exactly what you want to do when you get the upper hand, is extend your ward coverage very deep on that side of the map so that he can continue his pressure, which opens up the other sides of his team to answer back and receive bottom turret damage here.
And they've got it down to about 10% health. Nien and Co have moved over to defend that right here. Psycho City's waiting in the shadows, goes to the side, lands it on a double. Can he do enough damage? Ult comes up, but Ignite is on. Can Double run away? So low on health, the Q doesn't quite land. Ignite times out. Double must still run away, does not have flash, does not have barrier. The Shuriken misses. He is still trying to run. There's Link, there's Chowster. He might just get out. Oh my God, Double lives.
The League of Sneak Attack Bush ganks here. Every single solo laner setting up really, really good Bush ganks. Didn't quite land the last Shuriken right there, though, so no kill for Sid.
I gotta give props to him, though. He already had his W auto attack mark primed, landed the Q from the clear shot, auto attack and activate, landed the stun, comboed in so well with the escapes. Dodging that last Shuriken was so vital by double lift. And we just watched Zuna. It's funny to watch him because he's like one of those late game hallmarks you want to look for. Okay, Zuna's on an 80 carry. He's going to go for the late game. He has never left bottom lane so far from what I can see.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about with Sid continuing his pressure in that top lane and continuing to push it all the way to the secondary turret. It opened up Zuna to get back in this game because they took pressure off the bottom side of the map and Vulcun were able to keep this one going.
And of course you can see he's actually tied up the minion kills as a result for that, so that pressure definitely has paid dividends for them. And of course if Smithy's showing up, it's going to be another turret picked up. Vulcun starting the turret lead 3-2. They've been controlling this game quite well in the early game.
Plus they have both of those Blade of the Ruined Kings finished now, so the damage potential for these, the next dragon that comes up is definitely going to be there for Vulcun. You can see both teams with Oracles already playing that vision game and trying to clear out the wards preemptively.
Well, there we go. Chowster the Oracles does kill these things off. It looks like Dragon, being back up is an important thing for these guys, but here's the thing, Psycho Sid is still top lane. They cannot have 5 people defend this, whereas CLG has grouped their entire team together. I don't know if Vulcun can do a lot about this.
Well, CLG are really the ones under pressure because Sid is going to be continually pushing, so they have to get this dragon if they're going to want to answer this one. The only question is, will Vulcun actually start up this team fight?
Well, Dragon at a half health, of course, that top turret will fall as well, and Vulcun says, nope, we will trade an inner turret for Dragon. That is fine with us. Takes a bit of a gold deficit, but gets more map control for it. Sid's actually spamming laugh and dance in between his basic attacks there. He knows this is safe for him.
Yeah, so that's a really good move by Vulcun, actually. I'd say that they actually come out with the win on that one because they got a lot of free damage onto this middle turret, plus now they've got free reign of this blue buff.
but they might get surrounded. Big Fat LP and Nian are right there. The leap might come across. They decide not to. It's going to be a very near 5v5. No, the smite comes out. Smithy will steal the blue buff, so another advantage actually being taken there, and ManCloud is bottom lane.
So they just have to switch their solo laners as their split pushers. Vulcun making really, really good use of their strong solo players here, and ManCloud, now that he does have that Blade of the Ruined King, he can duel any person on CLG without fear. Looks like Nian's going to be the one supposed to answer.
There we go. It's going to be the mid lane, though, that does get traded back for Counter Logic Gaming. The rest of Vulcun had to back out. Now we can see this bottom inner turret, the next target for Vulcun right now. 2/3 HP. Nian actually still chasing. ManCloud says, I might want to fight you. However, he is surrounded right now by CLG.
ManCloud's really in a tough situation here. Chaucer's going to close in behind him, but they actually just pull back off because the threat of a Baron with this high percentage damage team, even at 20 minutes, so early to do something like a Baron, is there for Vulcun.
I gotta say, that is an incredible mid-game adaptation there to say, guys, they're collapsing on me, I'm going to die bottom lane, go Baron, they can't do it.
Exactly, and Zed, like we said, being the perfect duelist to keep up this pressure bottom and keep Nian pinned down there.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting though, because in a 4v4, I suppose Nian actually does have the most kills on his team. He is 2-0-2. I look at individual gold, and Nian's at 6,200. He is second only to Doublelift in gold. So it's actually a pretty important guy to not have for your 4v4 team fight.
Exactly, and that's probably why CLG would not hard engage on something like that. They would just go for the poke, because CLG are going for endgame. They want to get Doublelift fed. They have not been winning games when Doublelift is not the one receiving all of the money here. So they'd have to get a lot more farm onto Double before they actually are going to go for the fight.
Well, he does, of course, have a lot of farm. 7,000 gold on Doublelift, is the richest on his team, and the second richest in the game overall. That title goes to Mandatory Cloud. That Zed has 8,200 gold. Black Cleaver on top of Blade of the Ruined King. He is just chopping up people's armor, which, heck, is going to let Zuna even deal more damage in the team fights.
Exactly, and that is just Mandatory Cloud. He's so strong right now because not only does Blade of the Ruined King, you get double active damage because of his death mark, but the unique passive on it, where your basic attacks deal 5% of the target's current health, is also great with death mark because that damage is also multiplied. And since it's max health, your first hits are actually doubled there too.
And of course, speaking of max health damage, take a look at Smithy. He had the early game lead, decided, yep, I'm going to...
Oh, there we go, looking at Smithy.
Yeah, it's going to be Smithy and Big Fat LP. The team is there. Cocoon does not quite land. That will be the Zac getting away. So, talking about Smithy, right, had the early game lead, did get some tank with the Ancient Golem, however, has gone for haunting guys afterwards, wants the Magic Pen to keep chunking people out and help the assassination. They
really need to be able to spike down targets, so he's going more of a damage build now, looking for some spell penetration to be able to finish off the targets that they're able to lock up with Psycho Sid's Slicing Maelstrom.
So that's going to be the setup here for these guys. Sid, of course, also moving towards that Zhonya's Hourglass that we know all cannons need so very much, especially when you've got just so much burst from the CLG lineup. So the split push game is just still afoot here for this Vulcun squad. ManCloud in the bottom, taking double golems in between minion waves. Psycho Sid in the top. Just the Vulcun team are fearlessly sending people to all corners of the map and saying, you can't get us and we know it.
But they're not really accomplishing all that much right now. They have to do something here before CLG do get to the late game that they're always going for with that super fed hyper carry double lift. They have to make something happen with one of these, the Baron threat or the next dragon that's going to come up.
Do you think Vulcun is so confident in their late game that they will actually fight a super farm double lift and say, no, we believe in ManCloud, we're not afraid of double lift?
They're definitely confident in their team fighting abilities with these so many AoE CC abilities that they have stacked up. So it really comes down to that execution. And if they're able to get double lift in either one of those, Chain of Corruption or the Crescendo, then they can come out on top.
We'll see if they can do that then, because the late game seems to be where we're headed, ladies and gentlemen.
What a surprise.
Yeah, right? Vulcun CLG, we're going to late game. We're going to 50 minutes. And after Curse versus Velocity, I really wouldn't want it any other way. In the end, looking for a bit of a trap, though, in the Tri-Brush. However, no one's setting up for it.
That's one of the bad things about waiting for these push ganks. You don't always catch somebody, and you do waste a lot of time.
Yeah, he's not quite as fellow Demacian Garen. Sitting in the brush by itself doesn't always turn into kills. He wanted to pick a different one there to make that one happen. But, oh well, he gets some farm in the mid lane. And look at Link, just the easy wave clear core for him. Doesn't quite have enough ability power to one-shot the caster minions, but you can see that turret really not under much siege there. It's going to make things a bit more difficult for Vulcun if they want to push in.
Here we go. They're doing a really good job of clearing out all the wards, though. They're keeping ManCloud down bottom, so they have that constant pressure there, and someone from CLG is pinned down there. CLG have actually made the switch over to Double Lift because they want to funnel that farm into him, and they want him to be the one to answer for Mandatory Cloud instead of Nien.
Oh, I actually like that idea. They're saying, yes, if you're going to be level 18, I want Double to be level 18. I want him to have all the minion free farm. Actually, Zuna did this way back when, just like it was Don't Match Me way back when in one of their matches in the first split, where it was just an AD carry against a top laner split pushing for like 25 minutes, and he got huge. But the fight might just start here. Smithy looking for damage on Big Fat LP. The engage is there. He has to jump back.
And that was an interesting move there by Smithy. He goes for the cocoon on Link, even though Link's farther away, because Zach is so slippery. And it would be hard to get a kill, even if they did land that one.
So not going for the easy kill necessarily, because he could get away, but it's now the Dragon. So you get easy kills. Vulcan's been taking a lot of these right here. Smithy starting things off, tanking it up. Bloodwater putting the damage as well, sweeping out with his oracles. There's no ward control at all. Another Dragon goes to Vulcan that stretches the gold lead now 2,500.
And Chowster taking that opportunity, while Vulcan all being down by Dragon, to get those very important Baron wards up. Because of the threat that Vulcan have, with all of the damage, they can actually burn that thing down very quickly. And CLG have to constantly keep up the vision in this Baron area.
And vision game is really difficult for these guys. Bloodwater realizing he's a little bit alone, could have gotten caught out by Xerath there, and says, guys, I can't kill the ward unless you come with me. Somebody needs to scare away Link so I can get vision back. Right now, we do not have control over Baron. I'd like it, please.
So CLG now, with the completion of a death cap on Link, are actually looking to land that long-range poke onto one of these high-priority targets. If he can actually chain a full ult combo on either ManCloud, Zuna, or even Psycho Sid at the beginning of a fight, even if he doesn't get the kill, they can make something happen off it.
Right,
Double Lift bottom.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. It's Double Lift alone. It's a 5v4. Vulcan going to start things off. Bloodwater's in front, gets knocked up by Baron, but they don't care too much. The flash tunnel comes in. Here comes the fight. Can they do enough? Chowster's going to run back. You've got just Zach in the middle of everyone. He's escaping as well, and the team will regroup soon. Double Lift is 10 seconds away. The jump comes in. They find Chowster. 1 for 0 so far. Will Vulcan keep on moving, or will they turn back? The Xerath poke is hurting them. Link spots out. Sorry, not Link, but Nien spots out with a Jarvan flag toss. And Vulcan, they're going to choose retreat. They get a 1 for nothing, and they're going to back out.
Good move by them. They definitely don't want to stick around after that, because even though they chunked down Big Fat LP and they had killed Chowster, the threat of AoE damage there from Nien Tanso with his Hydra build and Link is just way too much.
But of course that fight, as they all recall, CLG is going to answer back with the team fight and say mid-turret, that's going to be ours. I don't think Zuna can defend this by himself. CLG's a little pensive there, but no, they get the second middle turret. That was actually a win for CLG despite losing the team fight.
It turns out to be actually a really good trade. A support's life for a secondary mid turret is a really strong move there. Great job by CLG answering, keeping Vulcan on the run and getting something back for themselves.
So that brings us to 4-4 in turrets right now. This game, very close. Both teams a little bit gun-shy in starting fights because they realize how explosive things will be if someone gets caught out. They're playing the vision game mostly and saying, okay, 5v4, we'll fight now.
It's going to be very dangerous for the next fight. You can see a blue elixir, the elixir of brilliance there bought already on Psycho Sid, so he's expecting something to go down soon here, and there it is.
Jumps in on the Bloodwater. Look at the damage output. Xerath's going to make it happen. Link takes out the support, and now it's CLG's turn for a power play, but this time they didn't take any damage for it.
And because he's got blue buff, Link only had 35 seconds left to go on that ultimate. It's down to 30 seconds. He's going to have it up for this next fight that comes down here. Oracles on shots are really important here. They're going to clear out the ward.
And ManCloud is at the bottom lane right here, so it's a 3v5 for Baron. Vulcan actually looking for this one a little bit. Smithy is still across the wall. Zuna looking to poke down on Link a little bit. I don't know if they really go for this one. Ward comes across the wall. Will they go for the Baron steal? This could be really nebulous. ManCloud takes down a turret. Smithy is around. He's got Repel available. Will they go in? Flashes in. Blue team takes Baron Nasher. That's good for CLG. The jump back out. Smithy is caught alone. He will be going down. The shutdown gold going to Double Lift, but right now, ManCloud is in the base looking for another turret.
So they did get the Baron. Big Fat LP has been amazing with his smites, but Mandatory Cloud, such a good answer down there. Only half damage onto an inhibitor turret, not worth it. Completely CLG's in CLG's favor right now.
And you can see they've closed that gold lead now to only 700 right here. They've made that very close. Of course, all 5 members have Baron buff as well, and that's going to be nice for them. They've been on the back foot for a while, and I know CLG likes to play late game, but the thing is, they're now the more powerful team. They're the team who gets to make moves and capitalize off the Baron buff.
And looky, double lift, almost level 18. He's got the combo. The Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer plus Last Whisper, and he's almost at 700 range from his passive. 694 means that they will have no problem staying in the back lines and avoiding all of this AoE CC that's so important to Vulcan's team. They have to make some sort of catch happen on double lift at the beginning of a fight to really make something happen.
Well, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them. Double lift, you're 700 range. Don't throw it, man. The team's hopes rest on your shoulders, your tiny little Yordle shoulders with a cannon as bigger than you are. And make it happen, double lift. CLG fans out there, you can see the online vote actually going back their way after that fight, 67-33. That's a good margin here. See how this guy ends up going. Of course, now they make me a liar, but we're moving on. Let's see where they go.
Yeah, definitely when you have a Baroned up level 17 Tristana like this, you're going to get a lot more votes.
You are going to get a lot more votes than a late game Tristana. So, Counter Logic Gaming just sweeping out the map. They're still a little pensive on making moves. You see them push up to the mid lane and say, okay, we'll take the jungle again. They're still playing the map control game, saying, no, we feel more confident late game. We'll take your blue buff. We'll get the lanes all pushed. Let Double Lift get more farm. Let him hit level 19, and we'll go from there.
They're still actually a little bit worried about the combo there from Vulcan, because if Vulcan are able to actually pull it off well with the flash crescendo like Bloodwater's known for, then they can still AoE down the entire team. It's going to come down to those split-second plays in the next team fight that will determine if any of those inhibitor turrets go down.
So we'll see if these plays can be made and who exactly is going to get bursted down by whom, because you've got a lot of burst damage on both these sides. 6-6 on the scoreboard, 44,000 on both sides. The turret's only one apart. This game could not really be closer unless the numbers were actually closer, but we'll pretend I said something smart there. Vulcan's still trying to defend.
6 and 6 is pretty close. We'll look at the kills.
All right,
there you go.
6 and 6, I got that one right.
Saved that one, buddy.
Woo! Kobe, you're on my side for this one.
All right, looks like CLG are actually just going to rotate here. They're going to take the easier gold of an outer turret. The inhibitor turrets are ridiculously hard to get compared to these secondary ones because of the way the terrain is laid out and the walls that Vulcan can use to group CLG up into that AoE combo that they want.
Looks like Vulcan read that one pretty well. The wave clear is there. Zuna, though, wow, has no health right now, but there's a few minions left. It's going to be enough for CLG to push down this turret. Link, good burst. That's another turret for CLG.
That's exactly what I talked about with that Xerath play. Link just looking to burst someone down. Even if they don't get the kill, there's your turret.
There is the turret indeed. 6-6, 5-5 in turrets. That one's been tied up as well. And CLG now sit at a 1,200 gold lead. And of course, they are not done. Baron buff has 30 seconds left. They look to make a play towards mid lane, but now that Vulcan have healed, they can't quite do it.
Going for the safe dragon right here. And what do you know? Link with blue buff again. Ultimate's already back up by the time Vulcan get there. So he could again siege them down, poke them out, and force them back off.
That dragon just died so incredibly fast. That's a lot of that is the power of a very, very farmed Tristana. Rapid fire is on and the kills just keep happening. Bloodwater sweeping out some wards. Vulcan are still trying to hold on to map vision here, but it's going now this time more and more in CLG's favor. On the back of Double Lift, he's level 18 now.
Recalling on a ward.
Oh, they get the stun on a Chapter. Can they follow up? So many crowd controls are used. Chapter ults himself. Can he get out? No, he cannot. Zuna picks up the kill, but there's nothing on the map to take except the turret.
That is two really, really big ultimates down for Vulcan. But they said, hey, you're going to give us a free kill. We are not going to let that one get away. And they are not really going to be able to capitalize on this one because the dragon was already taken. So CLG, not a big deal that Chaucer just went down again.
Well, the thing is, Link's ultimate is back up, and we actually saw this get talked about when we had Jungle Evelyn earlier. Smithy is building damage. He does not have Runic Bulwark. There's no bonus MR in this team to help defend against that Link barrage.
Yeah, all he's got is that small shield there. But it looks like Vulcan are actually making a move, sending everyone into the red side jungle of Counter Logic here. We'll see if they can actually catch out Double Lift, because that would be huge for them.
Well, right now they do know at least one guy was top lane clearing it out. That turret's down below half health, but Double Lift really showing no fear, just like, yeah, I'll kill the minion wave. You won't get anything out of this one. Vulcan rotates instead to the mid lane. They're not going to all in that either. CLG are reacting to these pushes so well, keeping every turret up.
You can feel the tide in this game has completely turned in CLG's favor. This is what they were waiting for, banking on that late game Tristana and the zoning potential that Link brings to the table with this Xerath. You saw, he almost just 100% killed Zuna by himself.
Exactly. That is a super scary Xerath. I do not want to deal with him. I don't want to be Zuna in this game right now. The tide indeed has turned. These teams are not tied anymore. A 2,000 gold lead puts CLG up there. 5%, not huge, but you're seeing these last 10 minutes have been all counter logic gaming, really. The Baron pickup, the turret counterattack for quote-unquote losing a team fight. They've made a lot of really, really good moves. And both these teams are playing the map well, but CLG seems to be playing it better.
Yeah, and it seems like CLG, even though they have one AP threat, that Link, him by himself is forcing magic resist on Vulcun. We're either going to have to see Zuna pick up something for himself and grab a Negatron cloak, or we're going to have to see that bulwark come out that you were talking about, which is a long ways away.
A long way away indeed. Right now we see actually Vulcun choosing something different though. A Kindle Gem picked up on Bloodwater. Looks like that might be Shirelia's Reverie. They just want to go in and potentially kill Link before he gets to shoot any abilities. Just get on him early. Psycho Sid looks for that, can't quite find it.
The way that Vulcun are going to gap close here is going to be important. They're completely reliant on flashes. But hey, we've got all our flashes up. So this fight will really be make or break. It's all going to be about Vulcan's flash cooldowns here, if they can actually chain the CC and keep either Link or Double Lift locked down for the duration.
Well, every single summoner spell and every single ultimate is up right now. Anything they want to do is available in this fight. Fight. Indeed. So here we go, the bottom lane. It's ManCloud on the split push. CLG saying, look, you'll split, we'll take Baron. This is a 5v4 Baron. I don't think Vulcun can stop.
This is very dangerous. Even if Smithy does go for the steal here, he's got flash to get back out.
All right, let's see if they can go for it. Baron taking more and more health. The repel comes across. CLG backs up. No, Smithy wants it. Blue team takes Baron. Naturally gets buster shotted back out. There's Baron. Psycho Sid taking a bunch of pain, flashes out. The recall comes in from Nien, but ManCloud, he's going to get at least the turret for it.
Can they answer and keep CLG from recalling here? It looks like ManCloud going on Inhibitor.
There we go. Inhibitor taking more and more damage. CLG, for the most part, are getting out. They've sent two back. It's Double Lift and Nien. They've said, look, we can 2v1 a Zed. I guarantee it. So Baron for a turret, not the easiest thing for Vulcun.
So dangerous for Vulcun to try and keep CLG from recalling there that they weren't able to stall long enough for Mandatory Cloud to answer. And now CLG with another Baron buff can easily push in that last outer turret.
And just look how much scarier Double Lift is getting. So even if you didn't count the Baron buff, the items are all there. Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and now he's starting on Guardian Angel, has 40 bonus attack damage from Baron buff. I don't know how you deal with that.
Yeah, the Guardian Angel would be amazing because Vulcun are banking on Zed's combo on Double Lift, assassinating him early. If he's able to get back up though, Tristana has so many escapes in her kit. If he hasn't used his rocket jump or his buster shot, the second life is actually going to be really, really strong.
And here we go. They're just going to close it out on this life right here. The middle inhibitor turret down below half health. ManCloud looks to wave through. They have a little bit of that, but CLG are still on the moves forward. The Zed Shadow is down right now. It's on cooldown. The wave clear still coming out, but the turret keeps losing more and more health. Double Lift, attacking that from so far away, is immune to counterattack.
Turrets mean almost nothing to level 18 Tristana's here. It's worse than having those Caitlyn's.
It really, really is. And Link going back into siege mode. This is very reminiscent of actually last game. It was Vulcun on the blue side with the Xerath right here trying to poke down CLG, and CLG had no way of getting into this fight. Well, now Vulcun has no good way of initiating. They put some poke down, but they're against Baron buff. There's no way they put down meaningful poke unless they engage hard, and they're still not doing it.
Exactly, and CLG have Zac. They have a long-range initiate, but they don't need to use it. They can poke continually and just get free damage on that turret. They've got Link to use his full combo, and they've got Double Lift to melt down the turrets. Looks like they're going to take the free gold, though. CLG, as always, being cautious.
Very, very cautious indeed. They move right on this one, taking that safe gold. This turret is theirs, and Vulcun, they look to answer, but they're answering, I think, a little bit too slow. Big Fat LP walking back behind and saying, look, I'll zone you out. You can't deal with me. I'm too fat.
And Double Lift looking to get 400 CS before 40 minutes there. He's already past Mandatory Cloud, who was split pushing almost the whole game.
Double Lift, you have been channeled farm, and it is working for you right here. Soon an arrow comes across, and the end scouts out the team. A little bit of poke comes out, still some more. CLG, though, they are just playing this one so incredibly safe. They are just saying, yep, if a team fight ever does happen, we'll win it, but we're not going to force the issue.
Very, very dangerous here for Vulcun, but CLG still not rushing it. If they go back for this dragon right here, it would be a ridiculous call. I actually say that would be a poor move by CLG. They have the Baron buff. They need to make something happen on an inhibitor turret, please.
Exactly. Only 1 minute left on Baron. You feel like you want to use that here. It's not going to get any farther ahead for you. Mandatory Cloud again trying the wave through the jump back, still from Tristana. the dive just is not coming. I mean, this is the antithesis of Cloud9. They would have dove those turrets 35 minutes ago and just tried to close it out. CLG saying, no, we really, really just believe we can wait it out. And it's like the days of old in the medieval ages. They're doing a full siege, hoping they starve to death.
Exactly, the war of attrition here being won by CLG. They've just got a little bit longer here to starve out Vulcun.
Of course, you can look at some of the examples there. The minion kill lead to Doublelift compared to Zuna, 121 minions separate those champions. A huge number right there, and you see it in the items. Zuna will not do anything close to what Doublelift does. It's on Mandatory Cloud, but I feel like they're just waiting for Guardian Angel, because right now Tristana has 2,000 gold. I think it's enough to finish it.
Well, Vulcun, their Baron buff is about to run out, and Vulcun, as soon as that happens, Vulcun need to jump on this because their options are quickly running out here. And like we said, they all have their flashes. They need to go 100% all in on a team fight with everybody laying down the AoE and burst down the priority targets of Link and Doublelift.
Well, they got Doublelift down to half health right now, and he has to try to lifesteal off of maybe lane minions or the double golems. Big Fat LP will walk back as well. That looked like the opening. They landed a slow into Tristana, they blew her rocket jump and said, okay, not gonna go.
Exactly, and now the Baron buff is down, but Vulcun let them back off, and there's gonna be, again, another 2 minutes here of waiting.
And Baron gonna come back in about 2.5 minutes, and that will be the next move made by Chronologic Gaming. They've killed that thing so fast, so many times now. Vulcun have tried to steal and never quite gotten it. See what their answer ends up being, because they haven't found the right answer here.
And delaying any longer is not really what CLG is looking to do. They've got the full item build on Doublelift. The only thing that's left for him is to start selling off items. He could sell off his boots and go Zephyr. It would actually be a pretty good buy for him because he would benefit greatly from that tenacity and the all-in potential here from that Vulcun team.
It's true, he could take a page from Master Yi and turn his Berserker's Greaves into sword boots, basically. And I don't know, I feel like that might work for him right here, but blue buff going again back to Link. Max CDR, Xerath, not fun to deal with. A 36-second cooldown on Arcane Barrage can rock that almost every single minion wave, and we've just seen it just destroy the health bars of Vulcun over and over and over again. There's still no Aegis, still no Bulwark, still no MR for Zuna.
I mean, you can tell exactly what CLG are thinking. Double pink wards over by the Baron means they aren't looking to rush anything. Yes, we got a whole bunch of free damage on these inhibitor turrets, but we'd rather force something around Baron. They have complete control of this side of the map, and they, again, have Doublelift split pushing by himself.
He doesn't really need to do that. I suppose he's safe with Rocket Jump, but I mean, come on,
man.
Chowster
He wants
likes some items.
He wants that.
He wants sword boots.
Exactly, he wants sword boots.
I just want to see like Chowster split push once and just like have a death cap on Lulu and say, bring it. That'll make my day for CLG.
Yes, they're going for the finish off this inhibitor turret. Here we go. Link actually whipping a couple of his ults.
There goes the Crescendo, doesn't hit much, but they go in onto Link. The dunk comes across. The Zonya's coming by as well, but look at the damage output coming in. There's the assassination attempt, won't do enough damage. Doublelift picks up a kill. 5v4. CLG is still looking to go on through. The Link poke's still coming by. 5v4. Will they keep moving forward?
That was it for Vulcun. They blew everything they had. It was exactly what they wanted to go for, but CLG too strong at this point. They weren't even to pop that Guardian Angel of Doublelift.
And there we go, the jump in onto Smithy as well. The jump in from everybody. Smithy forced to rappel up into the rafters. And CLG says, that's fine, we'll just take your inhibitor instead. Still some low health bars. Chowster getting poked a bit, but it's a 4v5. It's going to be difficult for Vulcun if they want to defend it. And Hip goes down.
They land the Cocoon onto Doublelift.
He just rocket jumps away though, still has Guardian Angel. He doesn't even care that much. First combo comes back. Already Link has his combo. Pops Zonya's. Zuna's not going to find a kill just yet. Turns Big Fat into Bloblets, but he's getting chased down. The barrier is popped, but they have the damage. Doublelift goes in, finds the kill. 9-7 to CLG, still in the lead.
Link with the fade away. Zonya's there, lean back, and they're going to go for the Nexus turrets on this one.
It looks like they have a chance to. 10 seconds still in power play. The first Nexus turret is starting to go down. They're splitting the focus a little bit, but there we go. One has fallen. The Bloblets are down for Big Fat, but it might not be enough. There is Zed respawning. The Nexus is open. They're trying to go for it. The all-in goes in. Well, they had the damage of what they need. They're still focusing down on the Nexus. It's going to be enough damage. CLG takes the win.
Congratulations to CLG.